I closed my eyes and I said, God, if this is what you want for me, if this is what you want for my life, just take me. It was 100% full surrender because I 100% just didn't give a shit anymore. And the second I finished my last word, I opened my eyes, and I'm not my physical human eyes, but my consciousness awakened, and I was in and with the presence of God. I had a massive spiritual ego. I thought I was very evolved, but it was the spiritual woo-woo persona that I had put over, mask that I had put over myself. And not saying that there aren't gems of wisdom inside of some of those eclectic circles, but primarily what that did for me was make me feel like I had a huge spiritual ego. So I thought that it was only me that would manifest things for myself. It had nothing to do with God. I wasn't a God person. I didn't use the word God. A lot of people in my community would be extremely offended by the word God. So it was I was serving people just as I am now, but I wasn't as present and I wasn't as purposeful. I think I wasn't mature enough in my own knowing of myself and what I truly was to be able to meet people on deeper levels yet. So that's kind of a generalized summary of who I was. Someone who would say esoteric, spiritual, definitely rebuking all God and all religion. And my primary focus was on how can I get what I want for myself? How can I promote myself? How can I grow my company? Yeah. So I was laying in bed. It was a foreign country. I didn't have any friends or family around. 2019, December in Sri Lanka. And I was experiencing and feeling all my systems shut down and die, basically. My body was going through massive amounts of pain because of the high fever. I had gone into like a delirious consciousness. I didn't know what day it was or like how I had gotten to that hotel. Something was going on with my lungs where I couldn't breathe. I was breathing, but it didn't feel like I was getting air. So like walking or moving felt totally impossible. I had to get help to like sit up in bed and things like that. And so that's on the physical, and the way that I see like our human systems, we have our physical body, we have our emotional body, our mental body, and our spirit body. So that's what was going on with the physical body. And then my mental and emotional body were realizing that the person I had traveled to that country with was actually not a good person. I had asked them for a favor to get me some medicine, and instead of them going out and getting me medicine, they just went shopping for themselves and forgot. So I also had this moment in time where, you know how when you're like, I've had this happen a handful of times, but when you're like dating someone and you're just ignoring red flags and you're stuck in this, what you want rather than what's actually going on. And it was like every red flag I had ignored in that moment when he came back to the hotel and didn't have the medicine for me, I had realized, I was like, oh my God, I saw every red flag I ignored. It was like dominoes were falling. And I looked up and I saw him as this completely different person in a matter of like a half a second. So I had this massive emotional ego blow because I had bought this trip for him. And then I realized I bought the trip for someone who doesn't even care about me. And that this was all that I had. Like I didn't have my mom. I didn't have any other friends. So then my mind started getting weak and I thought, this is it. I don't have help. I don't speak the language. This guy's not gonna, be of service to me. And then that compounded my physical pain. It made my physical pain feel 10 times worse. And I laid back in the bed and I kind of gave up. I mean, I've had shingles, which is an excruciating level of pain. This was on that level of just like, I couldn't bear it. I just couldn't bear it. So that's the state I was in. I was one of the first people to get that thing that was launched in 2020. The airport that I flew home through and flew there through was South Korea. That was the first location to be shut down. I made it back like 2 days and then they shut the airport down. So when I got back and I started seeing everything on the news and they were describing the symptoms and how people were dying quickly from the first wave, I don't know. Like, I can't tell you that that's exactly what it was, but I think that's what I think happened. And I think what I went through is a testament that even in the worst case scenario, you don't need medical intervention. You really don't. You can get through anything. The body can survive and sustain through anything. It may not be pleasant, but the fact still remains that it can survive anything. Yeah. So basically once my ego shattered and I realized how silly my decision making was and my emotions were as low as they could be and the physical body was feeling like it was done, I closed my eyes, and I still don't know why I said this, because I at that point in my life, I didn't use the word God, but I closed my eyes and I said, God, if this is what you want for me, if this is what you want for my life, just take me. I was at that point where it was 100% full surrender, because I 100% just didn't give a shit anymore. Everything had been shattered, and I didn't have someone there to say, it's okay, you're going to be fine, I'm going to help you through this. So I was at my lowest low, which is actually a really profound place to get to, I realized, because it's in that full surrender that miracles occur. And that's what I know now. But in that moment, what happened was, it was like I closed my eyes and I said that inner prayer to God. And the second I finished my last word, I opened my eyes, and I'm not my physical human eyes, but my consciousness awakened, and I was in and with the presence of God, because it wasn't like we were separate. So I don't want it to sound like I was here in my spirit consciousness and God was here. It was like God was everything, and God was also God. And I think describing it as like this infinite intelligence makes more sense than the word God in this scenario. But I was in my light body. I didn't have a physical body, but it was me, and I was in a light consciousness. And all I was feeling was unconditional love and eternal peace and eternal joy. And I went from really, really wanting something really bad and being in a lot of pain to the complete opposite. It was like I had no desires. I didn't need anything. I wasn't requesting something. Nothing was in a sense of suffering. And so I just knew that I wish that I could describe the level of love. It's a level of love that is so complete. Like, no matter what I could have said or done, it would have been full acceptance, full compassion, full love. It's such a freeing feeling to be in the presence of God. The level of freedom I felt because of this love presence was what has left a huge imprint on me for the rest of my life. It's what showed me God was real, and what God only is love. And everything in that moment was so simple and so easy to understand. And then I don't know how long that occurred, but I could feel a sense of completion. And all of a sudden I'm back in my body. And it's like going from an all-expanded, all-encompassing feeling to feeling like slight restrictions, and then I'm in the physical presence of my body. And when I wake up, I had gone through some kind of a healing in the presence of God, because all my pain was cut into. Everything that I was struggling with prior felt like it was like I was all of a sudden I was mending, I wasn't dying. And I could feel it, I could feel that my fever was gone, because the physical pain had went from like excruciating pain to soreness. And so I was all of a sudden I was mending. And that was the experience. It was like 4 months of excruciating pain, to be honest, because I had tied who I thought I was to my ego. So, and I couldn't really process it till I got back on US soil. So I remember I got back, and then like the next 3 to 4 months, once I was back, I didn't know who I was. It was freeing. After that 4-month period of like suffering and removing all the masks I had created for myself, and just realizing that there's this massive divine presence that does everything through me, and that I wasn't doing anything. Like, I had to really come to terms with, when I'm offering a healing to someone, I'm not doing anything. I'm getting out of the way so God can move through me and do it, because I'm in a lower vibrating frequency than the all-encompassing divine intelligence that created me. And it took 4 months to really understand what that meant, and to change. I had to change how I saw the world, how I saw myself. I changed who I was doing business with. I mean, it was like a 4 months of just like everything that was before the trip was not after the trip. And I had spent 10 years building that life. So it was almost like the crumbling of 10 years and all this stuff. And then once that occurred, I felt very free. Once that all the dust had settled, I did feel extremely free. But I also started feeling like these threads of eternal peace and joy while not doing anything. Just if I would just sit and breathe, I could feel these sense of eternal peace. And it was because I had brought God back into my life, whereas before I had sealed myself from infinite intelligence to move through me. I thought I was doing everything. It was like that seal came off, and all of a sudden I was this hollow bone for God again. And that is very freeing, because it's kind of like all I have to do is show up and with an open heart and my presence, and then God takes care of everything else. What I was doing before was extremely exhausting. It looks like a field of light. Like a field, meaning you don't ever see the end of it. It's, it's like so it's like a 360 field of light. And no matter where I looked or what I was feeling empathically, it was everywhere. It was even inside of my consciousness. And I kind of wanted, like, the metaphorical example I wanted to give in the beginning was like, how there's light brights and there's these individual bulbs that come up and make these colorful pictures. It's almost like I went into the center of one of those light bright bulbs. And it was just this expansion of bursting light, but it didn't have a beginning and it didn't have an end. Yeah, it was love, but me saying it to you in English does not even come close to the depth and profound of that. Like, for me right now, I'm saying one word to you, but in that atmosphere and in that experience, when that essence or that energetic word love is being communicated, it's such a full spectrum of things. It's like being healed, being loved unconditionally. I could feel like little things that I may have been embarrassed about as a human, like everything was being washed over in this complete acceptance of self. That's what it felt like. And then I translated that to love. It was like a light, something was looking at me and it was just accepting and nourishing every cell, everything that was me and about me. And I had never had an experience like that. It's challenging to describe it because language is like here. And if we're going in frequencies, like the feeling and what I experienced is out of the 3-dimensional frequencies that we're kind of operating in right now. So all I could say is just imagine a presence coming up to you and looking upon you with so much love and unconditional acceptance that you just melt back into the wholeness before you had become you. The NDE basically showed me that God is real. I still don't believe in man-made religions, me personally, but I have found God and Jesus and connecting with God and Jesus directly through my own inner light to be my spiritual path now. So I don't think everything in the Bible is 100% accurate, but I do think there's gems and pieces of gold in there that will bring us close to this feeling of God. It showed me that there isn't separation. So when we talk about unity consciousness, I had a living example that, like, even you and me were showing up in 2 different physical human bodies, and that's in the 3D realm. That's 1% of what's actually going on around us. So our spiritual senses can sense the other 99%. And in that other 99% that we cannot see with our human organs, like our eyes or ears, we're all part of that field of God love that I saw. We're all literally a part of that pure form of light that only feels and vibrates at the frequency of unconditional love. So in terms of like ancestors, it's the same as if it were my ancestors or if it were you or someone I just crossed on the street. It's all the same. There's really no differentiation. Our physical 3D realm paths look different, but that's how it was actually supposed to be. God didn't want to have the same experience over and over and over again. He wanted to have this multifaceted experience, like as if God was a diamond, but there were infinite facets to the diamond, but it's all still the same facet. And each facet is this different lens that it's looking out, and we are the lenses. Now, when I look at people, I don't feel separate from them. And even if it's someone that I don't agree with or someone that is maybe doing heinous, cruel things to other people, I still feel love for them, because inside of them is that pure light. Inside of them is that God pure light. And I know that if I focus on that, like we know this from quantum physics, whatever we focus on expands. So if I focus on the pure light that's inside of every human, that's what's going to expand. And that's how miracles are done. If you ignore the 3D senses and you go into your spirit senses and focus on amplifying those frequencies, that's what starts happening in your world, and that's what starts expanding in the people around you. I think that I was very delusional and confused as to how to come home to my inner power. I was doing the best that I could with the wisdom that I had at the time. And let's say like the path to that inner power and knowing God completely was here, and I was kind of starting to do this. And as soon as that happened, it wasn't like I had this gentle, it was like, no. It's like, I mean, I could say, I think my aha moment, my experience with God moment it was so intense because I was ignoring. I think I was ignoring more subtle pushes along the way to get me back to this state of wholeness. And because I wasn't responding to the subtler wake-up calls, I got a really, really loud wake-up call that gave me no other decision. It took the decision away from me. It feels like I have and I believe this about everybody, but there's a divine blueprint inside of my soul that has every single lesson completed in it, has my ascended mastery inside of it, has my the coming home to self and renewing my body as a light, like the perfection that's inside of me. And so like, if I start stepping, my human consciousness starts taking me into realms that are too far. It's almost like it's a magnet. Like none of us can mess up on coming home to ourselves. It's programmed inside of us. It'll just be how easy and graceful do we want the journey to be? Are we going to listen to the subtle cues, or are we going to need a massive hammer to the side of the head? Like it just kind of depends on our consciousness density. And I was extremely dense in my consciousness, and I had fooled myself to thinking otherwise. So I think I was in a lot of delusions at the time. I focus on as a teacher now is because I had this experience, is like, why are people okay with setting their bar so low? And that's who I was prior to this. I was someone that set my bar really low. I was dating really shitty men. I thought that's all I could get. So why would I complain about it? And because I hadn't known a good relationship and I hadn't really seen a lot mirrored outside of myself. But also with friends, what would I put up with friends? Also with business relationships, like who do I want to be in business with? And so I went from someone who had a super low bar and just kind of put up with shit to someone who had a massively high bar. My bar was now heaven on earth, which was like everything in my life had to be swept clean. And then I went into, okay, here's the Eden standard, the standard that we were promised, that heaven on earth is this consciousness inside of us. It's when we awaken the Christ consciousness inside of us, And so our frequency is seeing only unified consciousness, and it's only seeing eternal love and eternal peace. So our frequency, when we're moving through the world on the 3D realm, we're only emanating eternal peace and love. And it is this like jump, it's a faithful jump in consciousness to say, I will no longer tolerate pain and suffering because that's made in the mind of man. What I'm here to tolerate now is only heaven on earth frequencies, which means anything that comes up physically, miracle healing, anything that comes up mentally, miracle healing. It's not about suffering or striving or using effort anymore. It's about commanding and living from the God within, to me now. I've had a lot of, since I was born, I've had a lot of psychic gifts, meaning I always could participate and see in the spirit realm. I would say that after this happened, they're definitely more refined, but also I don't say as much. So like, if let's say you wanted a session with me and you came and you're like, I'm experiencing this and this and this. For me, I hold a vision of the heaven on earth standard for that person. If they're being challenged with something, let's say I'm challenged with feeling this fear around this subject, I'm able to see where that started, so I can take them to the seed of the pattern and explain to them, this is the seed. And typically when we go to the seed, it's a massive emotional release, because it's typically a trauma from when they're in their mama's belly, or maybe they're 1 or 2, so they don't actually have, I would say 90% of them are when kids are that young. But then I can hold space for that emotional release. And then once the pattern's let go of at the root, it's no longer present. So it's not part of their belief patterns. It's not part of their energetic magnetism. So they're not going through the same painful loop over and over and over again. That's something that definitely got more clarified after. Because prior, when I would do sessions, it was like I would see and hear, and it would be a massive amount of information, not all helpful. To God every day, and all I want to do is commune and be at one with God. I only share what God wants me to see. So it feels like things got really distilled in my vision space and a lot more helpful. And I think when I was in an esoteric spiritual practice, I wasn't grounded in the will of God, which means I was susceptible to information that wasn't from God. And now my practice is I surrender to God every day. So I have no worries about the visions or what I hear. It's always from God. Whereas before I had to do a lot of deciphering, and I didn't know why I had to do so much deciphering. But now I understand why. I make herbal remedies for people. So when people are shopping on the website and I see their order come in and I see their name, I package up their order, and then I can pray for miracle healings for them. So it's like I don't even have to give everybody individual sessions anymore. I can reach thousands of people a month. And this energy and the frequency that I just say with their name and what they ordered, and let's have them have their own miracle experience. Let's have them receive whatever is in their highest best interest. That level of intentionality raises the collective frequency. So the people that are then receiving these packages, it's not just about a 3D world exchange between products and money. It goes into the spirit realm with intention and otherworldly support. So I feel like because I've become more aware, then everything I make and share has more awareness in it. I make YouTube videos and I talk about I talk about how to live and see in frequency, and I try and teach people how to commune and surrender things to God to create their own miracles for themselves. So a lot of people that buy from me online know me from YouTube also. And I would say probably 50% of them probably know that they're being prayed for, and knowing that there is this infinite intelligence, light, and consciousness inside of you, and it's a real energetic structure. It can dissolve any fear. It can dissolve any physical illness. It can dissolve and bring back to the light anything. And if you start putting your energy and using your willpower to create a relationship with that light, meaning you close your eyes, you feel it behind your heart, I offer a lot of free guided meditations on how to do this. And you connect with that light. It's located behind your heart. That's why I'm touching here. And you start communing with that light. And then you feel your fear, and say, I surrender this to the Christ within, and I walk away free. And you are also consciously, like, you can breathe in. And as you exhale, you're surrendering your fear to that infinite light, and it is going to dissolve your fear. Same thing with any physical illness or emotional pain or suffering. And you just keep doing it, and you keep doing it. And it might take a long time for you at first, like 30 minutes, to feel a sense of relief, like the fear has been removed for you. It might happen after the second time you do it. I don't know. It's going to be different for everyone. But you commit to this type of a practice. And then over the course of time, like 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you're going to start feeling levity for no reason. You're going to start feeling joy and love for no reason. And you're going to have unlocked this temple of light within you that's going to start permeating your life. Then you can remove whatever you want. You don't have to hire someone to help you heal. You don't have to spend a dime to get to states of enlightenment. It's really just about willpower and focus, which is a huge challenge for people right now because of iPhones and the internet. Took away a lot of people's ability to focus and to utilize their willpower to stay focused and to keep a consistent practice. But if you have discipline, willpower, and focus, you can reach states of enlightenment very easily. You were literally born for this. You were born to live in a heaven on earth frequency state. You were not born to live in a suffering state. So this really is a returning home. Like, everything in this spiritual evolutionary practice is about returning. That's it. Live from this place. And like when stuff's going on in your world. So here's like a very logical, relatable example. I could wake up and let's say I wake up and I can't find one of my chickens. There's commands for everything. So I close my eyes and I say, there's no loss in divine mind. Therefore, all shall be restored to me and more. And what initially came up as a sense of anxiety or fear of like, where's my chicken? What I do is I go inside and I surrender that fear inside and I say, there can't be a lost chicken because I live in an Edenic heaven on earth state. And so I'm commanding that state to move into my 3D realm rather than being emotionally sucked down by the delusions of the 3D man-made world. You have to commit. Well, I shouldn't say you. I have had to commit to this for years and years of practice for it to become like second nature. Teachers like Florence Scovel Shinn or Neville Goddard, those two teachers will explain it in a way that's very easy to grasp. And so I would listen to Florence Scovel Shinn audiobooks over and over and over again, 3 to 4 hours a day for months until this way of living, of commanding from the power within, becomes my immediate consciousness. I'm not having to effort anymore is what I'm trying to say. So you will get to a place where your practice becomes second nature. It's no longer about willpower. It's no longer a discipline. It's just who you are. And I have returned to this state over and over and over again, and gotten higher and higher frequencies. And that's what Jesus did with the loaves and fishes. Like, to me, Jesus didn't come here to be worshiped in a religious container. He wanted us to emulate the powers he was showing us he had. And it wasn't about the crucifixion, it was about the resurrection. Then what he did was he so perfected his light body, he was able to take his body with him, which is what we're all able to do. So I think the Christian religion, the man-made aspects of it, have muddled the actual importance of what Jesus was here for. It's not about worshiping him. We have Christ consciousness within us. That's what he gave us because he gave us an example of how to use it. So for me, like, my spiritual goal is to perfect my light body so that I can take this body with me and I don't have to go through the death and rebirth cycle anymore. So I studied teachings of Jesus through things like the Course in Miracles, where it's a channeled book of Jesus. And then I will pick up a few excerpts from the Bible, but I think the Bible's been highly manipulated. That's what it feels like when I read it. There are certain passages where I'm like, that's pure. I can tell that's pure. But a lot of it is not. Anything that has a frequency of fear or shame or suffering is man-made. So you can just immediately discount anything that makes you feel scared or confused, discount it as man-made, and go within and find a higher truth. The biggest core lesson is that I found out that I am loved beyond measure, that I'm cherished and loved, and there is this frequency out there that wants to give me everything in my heart's desire. There's a frequency out there that loves me so much. Even when I fall on my face, that unconditional love is still pouring on me. And having had that experience, I know that my only job while I'm here is to share that unconditional love with other people. So my message is whatever it's going to take you to resonate with, and then only share love with others, you will have mastered your soul's life plan. So it's really just love. I mean, making a conscious decision to choose loving thoughts when you're on the road and someone cuts you off. Choose loving thoughts when someone makes a rude YouTube comment. Choose loving thoughts. Just keep choosing loving thoughts and ignore anything that's under that frequency. I have a few things that I offer people. I have a heaven on earth based sacred dose school. So if someone wants to join the school, it's a monthly subscription thing. So it's $22 a month, and then you have access to 20 hours of teachings and a platform of a chat community where we all hang out. And in that school, I teach people how to heal themselves with God, plant medicinals, and microdosing. So I have that school, and then I have whitefoxmedicinals.com, which is my herbal remedy website, and I offer people different herbal remedies. And then on the YouTube, I explain how to utilize these herbal remedies. I have different healing tools. I teach people about lymphatic massages and the importance of detoxing the body. So really, what I'm here for now is just supporting people that want to heal something physically or mentally or emotionally or spiritually. And then what's next for me, I feel like, but the way that I interact with God is I really am only shown one or two steps in front of me at a time. And I no longer have these 5, 10, 15-year plans like I did prior to this experience. So my goal is to stay in the present moment and then have God move through me. I have some senses of what could be coming, but I don't like to speak to those until they've arrived in the actual 3D realm. But I do sense that very big things are